All right, so Christian McCaffrey, is he the number one pick for 2023 fantasy football? This is the Fantasy Sports Post. If you're new, hit the subscribe, hit the notification button as well. Well now into the off-season profiles, the off-season reports. Hot stove NFL season is already underway as Derek Carr has been released by the Las Vegas Raiders, free to sign wherever he wants, which, the Jets, the Saints, a couple of prime teams of the Raiders, letting him go, creating an opportunity for other teams. So we're going to get to all that plus the NFL draft. But today I wanted to talk about Christian McCaffrey specifically because McCaffrey was the best player in fantasy football last season. Outside of Justin Jefferson, Austin Eckler, you could have a debate among those three, but those three stand above everybody else. And for McCaffrey, it was a major comeback campaign after he played 10 total games the two previous seasons combined. Despite only playing in those 10 games, he was right there with Jonathan Taylor in the debate to be the number one pick in the majority of fantasy football leagues, especially PPR last season. I know myself, I was faced with such a dilemma. I went with Taylor, made the wrong call, those who went with Taylor. And it was understandable if you did because Taylor was the durable guy. McCaffrey was far from it. And also McCaffrey was inching up there in age as well. But McCaffrey made the whole thing a moot point. Taylor was the one who got hurt constantly throughout the course of the season. Then, of course, didn't finish the season with an ankle injury. And then McCaffrey, meanwhile, wound up playing all 17 games as he started with the Carolina Panthers and then was moved to the San Francisco 49ers for the entirety of the season. 1,139 rushing yards, 8 touchdowns on the ground, 4.7 a carry, a very, very healthy mark for him. 85 catches, 741 yards, and another 5 scores. So the PPR dynamo is back. McCaffrey is back. He's probably going to be the number one pick. He's the safest choice. Justin Jefferson will be in that conversation in PPR leagues. Austin Eckler as well, although I think 9 out of 10 owners are going to take McCaffrey over Eckler. As great as Eckler's been the last couple of seasons, just because of muscle memory there. But now the thing is this repeatable for McCaffrey? Is this 2022 repeatable of 2023? I have my reservations. For one thing, if you do draft McCaffrey number one overall next season, you are paying the freight. You are paying the high cost. You're buying extremely high on McCaffrey, where, there really hasn't been a buy low, just because even last season he was right in the conversation as number one overall pick, despite playing in 10 games total the previous 2 years, like I mentioned. But again, another issue too, he's going to be 27. So I've always said this to you guys, 27 and older, or when things start to break down, you run into some trouble with health, declining numbers. We haven't seen that yet for him, at least on the numbers front. The health is always an issue with McCaffrey. And here's another thing, third issue that I have concerns about. Are you willing to buy the notion that he will put forth back-to-back fully healthy seasons? There's almost no chance of that. I would be beyond shocked if McCaffrey plays 17 games next season. Veteran backs who, are not considered young, like McCaffrey is not. He's getting towards the back end of his career as a running back. Coming off a very heavy touch season like he did in 2022, oftentimes the following year, when you're getting up there in age like McCaffrey is at 27, you tend to bounce. Bounce meaning you either get hurt or the numbers jog back a little bit. And that's what I expect from McCaffrey next season. Guys who have that kind of a workload like McCaffrey had last season for the Panthers and the 49ers start to go the other way the next season. 329 touches is a lot of touches for a guy who's 26 and has the extensive injury history that McCaffrey has. We have to be very concerned about the injury issue going forward. For me personally, if I have the number one pick in a PPR league next season, I am not taking McCaffrey. You could say, okay, you blew it last time when you took Taylor over McCaffrey. That's fair. The mistake was taking either Taylor or McCaffrey in the sense that I want the wide receiver in the first round. I want Justin Jefferson, number one overall if I have that pick, because receivers are more stable. They don't get hurt at the rate that running backs do. Their numbers are much more repeatable, and they're the safer choice. You could get a good running back in round two, like a Ramondre Stevenson. Any of the Robinson, Bijan from Texas probably is going to go in the second round. He's going to be an instant Saquon Barkley instant impact rookie. Brian Robinson from the Commanders could have him in the third round. He's going to be potentially a bell cow back for the Commanders. So there's good runners that you can get and minimize the risk of injury while you take that stud receiver number one overall, because, for McCaffrey, he's not going to last past the third pick. So for me personally, I'm not taking McCaffrey. If he was 24 or even 25, I would seriously consider it. going into his age 27 season, coming off a 329 touch campaign, extensive injury history. 49ers may even dial back his numbers just a little bit, or his touches a little bit, because of this injury risk. These are all reasons I'm going to fade McCaffrey. I'm very, very, very strong on keeping to not drafting running backs or owning running backs 27 and older. We saw last season, Alvin Kamara really struggled. We saw Dalvin Cook put forth a very boring season. The numbers on the surface were good because he played in every game, which was shocking in and of itself. But Dalvin Cook did not have a great season. Joe Mixon, take out that one game where he put up 52 fantasy points or whatever it was, and he was pretty bad. He wasn't good. I mean, he was under 4 yards a carry in the rest of the games there. Plus, he's got some legal trouble now. So, the guys that start to get up there in age, 27 and older, you want to stay away from, and McCaffrey fits that bill this season. So, again, he could fool us all again and put another monster PPR campaign. I'm not paying the cost. I'm not using my number 1 overall draft pick on McCaffrey on a 27-year-old running back with that kind of extensive injury history, paying at his highest value. No, thank you. I'm just not doing it. All right, hit that subscribe, hit that notification button. More videos on the way.